Bum da bum, ba ba da bum, bum ba dum, bum bum ba ba dum. It must be a Doctor Who reviews. Ugh. No expense spared on the special effects. Indeed, we return for Series 15, Episode 1, The Robot Revolution. Again, the children refuse to appear with me. This is where we're at. This is where we're at with this. And so we have a new companion. They're reusing. They're reusing. They're reusing. Just reusing, like they do. Sorry, I just can't be bothered. It's so stupid. I just can't be bothered because we're going back. We're reusing Verada Sethu, who appeared in Boom, and she is now Belinda Chandra, who is an ascendant, a relative of the character she played in Boom. So no stakes there then, because she's in the future, a relative, a descendant. So no stakes immediately off the bat, no stakes. And this was the opening, because we're not got Ruby Sunday anymore, because she'll be back, but we got a new mystery. A new mystery, because we're doing it again. What we're doing again, we're doing the thing that the companion is special. We've done it before. We did it with Clara. Do you remember? Clara was special. We did it with Ruby Sunday. She was special, but she wasn't. Do you remember? She was special, but then she wasn't special. And now we're doing it now with Belinda Chandra. And the story is packed full of the usual tropes you come to expect from the show. In its current state, I might add. In its current state, it's ideologically driven, which means it's going to be badly written. Remember, don't think about any of what goes on, because it won't make sense. It's not meant to make sense. None of it's meant to make sense. Opens 17 years previous, apparently. Which I guess, if it was 17 years, wasn't it? That means Belinda's about in her mid-30s then, I guess. But anyway, and her boyfriend buys her one of those certificates that names a star. Again, it's a ludicrous idea. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work, because the whole premise of this is broken. If you create a story with a broken premise, it just feels clunky. But of course, Russell T Davies just magics it away, because this piece of paper that she's got is the catalyst for the whole event. Everything that happens, it's the root of everything, and it magically appears further back in time by reasons unknown yet, because that's good storytelling. No, it's this mystery box storytelling that I really can't abide, and I'm tired of, and I think we need to get rid of it. It is awful. We saw this kind of thing happen before with the crack in the wall. Do you remember? And the name of the doctor and all this stuff, which usually, timeless children even. I like that one. I just said that to annoy the people that didn't like it. So Belinda is a nurse. The doctor shows up at her hospital. Oh, we've not done that before, have we? Martha. She's Martha too, really. just again, nothing new. There are no new ideas. You know, she's not a chartered accountant, you know, or someone who's digging the roads. She's a nurse, so she can crack the joke. Well, if you're the doctor, then I'm the nurse. That's the whole point of that. That's the whole point of that. So she gets kidnapped by some robots because they think she's the queen of their society. And you go, okay, because of this star being named after her. Well, they don't. You can't live on a star. Surely it's the star system that it's named after, and they're taking their name from. But again, that doesn't make sense either, because we have the sun, but we don't live on the planet sun, do we? We don't name ourselves after the sun. But anyway, you do this because the robots have to have their name, have her name, because running her name together is funny, isn't it? Remember, that's funny. It's tiresome. So yeah, the robots see her as the queen. The villain is called AI Generator, though we'll get to that later on. The tough guy in it is called Manny, because he's a man, and it's just all flash and no bang. It's all style and no substance. It looks really good. I think it looks good, though. The rocket was nicked from A Grand Day Out. They're the wrong robots, Gromit. The wrong robots. Wasn't it? The peculiar design choice for the distant planet, very 50s. So yeah, and how does it resolve itself? Well, again, it's the straight white guy who's the villain, as usual, because of timey-wimey, bollocksy, she names her ex-boyfriend, and the robots go back further in time, and somehow he becomes the leader of the robots and causes the whole robot revolution, which causes the people to be enslaved. But them and the robots lived in harmony at one point until he turns up, because he is an incel apparently. And remember that it's adolescence all over again. Remember, it's the straight white man who is the villain. That's it. That's all you take away from this. And it resolves itself. And she calls the TARDIS without ever knowing it's called the TARDIS, which is, there's probably a reason. There's probably a reason for that somewhere. But the Doctor can't get her home because of reasons. And see you next time. And that's the story. Wafer thin. It's just, look, if you like it, well done. But it doesn't bear any scrutiny. Now, can I suggest my version? Can I? Let's rip out the ideology. Let's rip out the incel. The planet of the... It was worth it just for planet of the incel quip, wasn't it? Remember, white man bad. But Russell T Davies, naughty, you made your villain disabled. He had no legs. Didn't he? He had no legs and he had one eye. I thought you weren't allowed to do that anymore, because remember, you gave Davros his legs back because they're disabled or something, but you made the villain disabled again. You rotten ableist, you. So again, it was almost like a poor man's Cyberman character. this owl. It turns out to be owl generator, which makes no sense. However, white man bad. Can we do it my way? Can we, please? We open the same way. We open with them sitting on a bench and him looking at the stars, going, "Oh, aren't the stars great? I'd love to travel to the stars." And they chat and everything, and then they drift apart. Right? You don't see him anymore. But he mentions his hobby, computers, computer gaming. I don't know. You buried a nugget in there. And then the robots turn up, pick her up, take her away. We reveal him to be the villain again, right? But this time the backstory is different. Instead of him being an incel, right, we know he's a gamer because it's mentioned. How about he's a gamer and he's playing this game about, I don't know, one of those strategy games where you have to conquer the galaxy. And he's successfully, we're going to do like The Last Starfighter. We're going to use that. Nobody uses that story hook. Go and watch that film. It's really good. And he beats the game. But the game has been sent out across the universe to find a leader of the robots. Right? Because they're looking for someone who's true and a great, thinker. And they magically appear because he completes the game. And they say, "You're our strategic leader," and they whisk him away. And this is told when it's revealed. He explains his backstory, and he's been taken in by them, right? He's been kind of absorbed by the machine over millennia. He's more machine than man, but he has Belinda on his mind because she is his love. Love still exists in his mind. He can only think of love. That's the last shred of his humanity. And so that's why the robots bring him. He demands his queen. And they bring her there. And she sees him. And he says to her, again, you can do the ninth word thing. And he can say, "The thought of you is the only thing that stops me losing my humanity." Turn it into a tragedy. He's a villain, not through his own fault, but because he's being kind of corrupted by the machine, and he brings his love to him and she frees him. He still dies, but she, I don't know, she wonders, she says, how did you become like this? And it resolves itself. He still can be a sperm and an egg. I mean, why, Russell? Why do you do this? But it can be about love and about humanity, about love finding a way. And it can still be a tragedy. And it doesn't have to be drawn on ideological lines. You can tell virtually the same story with the same characters. But you don't have to keep making an ideological point. Because it always leads to bad storytelling. And you'd have a tragedy, right? And even the doctor could do a little tear. Because he could say, "Oh, well, I thought he was the villain. I didn't realise he was suffering." Yeah, you can do that. But we didn't do that. We went for the Planet of the Incels, because let's alienate the core audience even further. Your nerd. Because that's what you're doing, Russ, and you know it. Because you're here to finish the show. Don't worry. There is no series 16. There ain't no more. They've disassembled the set. Bad Wolf Studios are touting for business because there's no more Doctor Who. Shooty was been announced to be playing that famous British black playwright Christopher Marlowe in a play opposite playing a guy who's going to be playing William Shakespeare. So yeah, it's done. Hiatus. It ain't coming back for a while, if at all. And yeah, Davis has closed it. He's shut it down, and Davis himself has gone off to Channel 4. So here we are, and that's what this series is. It's a closer. And then you've got this whole mystery about, can't get back to the date of the penultimate episode of this season series, like it's a big thing. Now, we've been duped before with, the Ruby Road Church on Ruby Road. We've been here before. We've been duped before. So, we have this great mystery, which may not be a mystery. I don't know. Who cares? But here we are. Was it a good opener? I don't know. I don't even know. Again, they spent so much time introducing Ruby Sunday. I thought it was, okay companion, but again, didn't get enough screen time, didn't get enough to do to discard her for this one. And you just go, why are we doing this again so quickly? It just, I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I don't really care for it. It looked nice. I thought some of the designs were good. The special effects were okay to mediocre. Again, all the underground cavern tunnel scenes looked like a cheap set where, the external scenes looked a bit more expensive. There's never a consistent, quality in the sets. There's always like the inside sets always look cheap, and then when they do all the green screen stuff and the space sets look a bit more fanciful. So the robots I thought were an interesting design, but again they borrowed the emoji kind of face from Moffat's era with Capaldi. And remember, white man bad, white straight man bad, the root of all evil. And and that's it. It could have been so much better. It could have been really funny. It could have been a funny episode, a bit like Space Babies, but there was lots of people being incinerated, like the cat. Why do that? Kids are watching. It's meant to be a kids show, and you fry a cat. I'm a dog man. And I thought, no, I just thought it was a bit in poor taste, But I'm sure maybe Russell T Davies had a bad love affair with a cat once or something. He's just getting back at it. So I've wasted far too much time talking about a TV show that is just in its death throes. It's not even funny anymore. Again, it has the appearance of being science fiction, but it relies so much on the usual, bootstrap paradox, timey-wimey buggering bollocks that we've become numbed to. It's not even funny. I would say, Russell, could you just write a straight story? But you couldn't, if you know what I mean. None of them can. Well, I mean, Chibnall did. He didn't fall back on that too much. But I know Moffat was obsessed with all these paradoxes, and and we've got more of this. And we've even got one set in Eurovision, which may be pulled because if the football overruns, they're going to have to pull it rather than, I don't know, put it on BBC Two or BBC Three or something, because that's the schedules. I don't know if that even happens. It might not happen. So I didn't like it. Again, I think Shuigatwa's got real potential, but he's just he's not given a lot to do. Even this time, he didn't save the day. The assistant did. He just handed her the star chart, or the robot did. The robot, actually, the Polish robot, Polski Slep, the Polish cleaning robot, which was basically just a scutter from Red Dwarf, was it not? This is, again, it's the same thing. He cries in it. He doesn't do anything. He's pretty ineffective. He gets people killed. Like she said, you're dangerous. Yeah, because he's a moron. He's the worst. The worst writing for the Doctor yet. I believe he's an imposter. I don't believe he really is the Doctor. I believe he is an imposter. But yeah, I didn't think much of it. I thought Space Babies was a better opener because at least it was funny. You know, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I like the babies. I thought the talking babies were funny, even though that story didn't make sense either. But like I always say, best not think about it. Don't think about it. Just go with it. Go with the message. You know, and just absorb the ideology and think exactly like they want you to think, and everything will be just fine. And that's it. That's the review, or whatever this was. And I'm gonna toodle off now. Remember, folks, be careful where you stick your sonic screwdriver. Ta-ta.